Welcome. Have you ever looked at a brilliant design and just wondered, how did they do that? How do they take a messy, vague problem and turn it into something so clever and elegant? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a mental process. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it works so you can use it too.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring at this big, messy problem, and the finished solution feels miles away. It's kind of mysterious, that whole journey from point A to point B. So how do you actually get there?
You know, the designer Brian Lawson really hit the nail on the head. He said the skill isn't about following some rigid checklist. No, it's about finding the right view, the right perspective, or a sort of mental map to see your way through all the complexity. So, what does this map actually look like? Let's find out.
Okay, so first things first. We need to talk about why the old ways of doing things just don't cut it for creative work. A lot of the traditional decision-making tools we're taught can be way too rigid.
And you can really see the clash right here. On one side, you've got these old static models. They're top-down, they're abstract, they miss all the real why behind a decision. But creative work, that's a totally different beast. It's fluid, it's uncertain, it's messy, and it's all about figuring out the how and why as you go.
So if the old tools are broken, we need a better map. And that brings us to something really powerful. A mental model called the four-level hierarchical model. Now, this is basically a blueprint for how expert designers organize their thoughts, all the way from the biggest, most abstract ideas down to the nitty-gritty details.
It all starts at the very top, at level 1, aspectual intentions. Think of this as your North Star, your guiding philosophy, your big why. In the study this comes from, designers were building a Lego sorter, a really complex problem, and they chose one powerful intention to guide them: simplicity. That single word became the filter for every single decision they made.
Okay, so once you have your why, you step down to level 2, functional intentions. This is where you get practical. You ask, okay, what does this thing actually have to do? For that Lego sorter, the jobs were clear. It obviously had to sort Lego pieces, but just as crucial, it needed to be easy to transport. These are the non-negotiables.
Now we're getting to the fun part. Level 3 is where ideas get real, where they get tangible. We're talking about the physical stuff. To make that Lego sorter work, the designers started thinking about concrete parts. What kind of boxes? Maybe plastic bags. How does it move? A trolley with handles. You see how it's starting to take shape?
And finally, we hit level 4, which grounds everything in reality: implementation. You have to ask, how are actual people going to use this thing day to day? The designers knew that students will help sort, so the design had to be accessible. And here's the kicker: it had to fit in a car boot, a tiny detail, but one that could completely make or break the whole thing. But here's the thing: it's not just a ladder you climb once and you're done. No, the real magic, the real genius is in how you move between these levels. It's super dynamic.
And this is where two key modes of thinking come into play. First, you've got what's called lateral thinking. Think of this as going wide. This is the brainstorming phase, where you explore a ton of different ideas without judging them. But then, once you've found an idea that has some real potential, you switch gears. You move into vertical thinking, or going deep. This is all about refining that one concept and making it as good as it can possibly be.
And here's the key takeaway: the best designers, they don't just stick to one or the other. They're masters at balancing the two. They know how to explore wide to find the best ideas, but they also know exactly when to commit and go deep to make an idea truly great.
Okay, this is a fantastic mental map, right? But how do you actually put it to work? Let's make this super practical.
Here's a 4-step playbook you can use. First, you have to anchor everything in your why, your level 1 philosophy. Then you explore laterally. Go crazy, generate a ton of different ideas, don't hold back. Once you've got a winner, it's time to refine. Go vertical, add the detail, flesh it out. And maybe the most important step of all, constantly check for coherence. Keep asking yourself, does this detailed thing I'm building still serve my original big idea?
So why does all this matter? Well, because this map brings some much-needed structure to what can feel like total chaos. It helps you avoid information overload, and it makes sure that the thing you end up with is actually connected to the goal you started with. It really is the bridge between a fuzzy, abstract goal and a concrete, brilliant solution.
And listen, this is not just for designers, not at all. This is a mental map for anyone trying to solve a tricky problem, whether it's huge and complex or something you're dealing with every day. So the only real question left is, what problem are you going to solve with this new map?